how can that preacher preach except he's been sent by God? Now, the problem is not the preacher. The problem is the sheep. Somebody said the problem is the sheep. You see, sheep beget nobody but Jesus.
So now, with all of these people, if that's something that you want to say in-house, you better have the ushers there to get their phones.
Have you ever wondered about the truth behind Shirley Caesar's journey? People have always talked about her incredible faith in music. But what is it that she just confirmed?
So if you were going to say something, you should have said it 4 years ago when our president made that stuff all right.
Could it be something we've always believed deep down? Shirley Caesar, known as the First Lady of Gospel, has finally shared something that leaves us amazed. What is this truth, and why is it so powerful? Let's find out.
I'm so glad that I was not an only child.
Right.
Because now I know how to really appreciate family life.
Shirley was born on October 13, 1938, as the 10th child in a family of 12 children. Her father, James, worked in the tobacco industry, but also loved gospel music. He was the lead singer of a gospel group called the Just Came for This. Shirley grew up surrounded by gospel music, and it became a big part of her life. At just 10 years old, she started singing with her father's group. This was the beginning of her journey in gospel music.
It has just been wonderful growing up with a large family.
Sadly, when Shirley was only 12, her father passed away. It was a tough time for her, but instead of giving up, Shirley became even more determined to sing. After her father's death, she started touring with an evangelist named Leroy Johnson. Touring with him helped Shirley grow her musical skills and become more well-known. Johnson even had a TV show in Virginia where Shirley gained experience performing in front of live and TV audiences. At the young age of 13, in 1951, Shirley recorded her first song, I'd Rather Have Jesus. This was a big step in her career and showed her incredible talent. Even while balancing school, she continued to tour around the Carolinas, singing gospel music and earning fans. Her hard work and passion for music were clear, and she never stopped giving her best. Growing up, Shirley faced many challenges, especially racial discrimination. Living in North Carolina during the Jim Crow era, she experienced prejudice. She remembered times when restaurants would close their doors as soon as they saw her because she was black. At school, things were unfair too. Once white students were given fresh cookies, but Shirley and her black classmates got stale ones. These experiences were hurtful, but didn't break her spirit. Shirley's mother, Hannah, was a strong woman who taught her to respect herself and keep going, no matter what. These lessons helped Shirley stay strong and focused on her music. After finishing high school, Shirley attended North Carolina Central College, where she studied business education. But something happened during her time in college that changed her life forever. One day during a typing test, Shirley heard someone calling her name. She thought it was the girl sitting next to her, but the girl said she hadn't spoken. Later at home, Shirley heard the voice again.
When did you get the calling? Because I read somewhere that you got it in a typing class, or?
Oh, yes.
How'd that happen?
Well, I don't know. I just heard the voice of the Lord just speak to my spirit.
Right.
This time, the message was clear. Behold, I have called you from your mother's womb and anointed your lips to preach the gospel. Shirley believed this was a sign from God. She felt chosen to spread the gospel through her music. At just 19 years old, Shirley Caesar made a life-changing decision that shaped her future forever. She decided to follow her dream of singing gospel music, a choice that brought her great success and made her a beloved figure in the gospel world. This journey began when Albertina Walker, one of the biggest names in gospel music, noticed Shirley's incredible talent.
For so many years, those same siblings, my sisters and brothers said, God don't call no woman to preach, you know.
Albertina was the leader of a famous gospel group called the Caravans. The group was well known and loved by gospel music fans. When Albertina saw Shirley perform, she knew Shirley had something special. She asked Shirley to join the Caravans, giving her the chance to sing with some of the best gospel singers of that time. This was a huge opportunity for young Shirley, but it also came with a tough choice. Shirley decided to put her education on hold so she could sing full-time with the group. It wasn't an easy decision, but Shirley believed it was the right one for her. Joining the Caravans was the start of Shirley's professional music career. Being part of the group gave her a chance to show her amazing voice to a larger audience. It also allowed her to learn from experienced singers like Albertina Walker, Cassietta George, and Josephine Howard. These women were role models for Shirley, helping her develop her own singing style and stage presence. But life on the road wasn't always easy, especially for someone as young as Shirley. During her first night with the group, she faced a scary situation. They were staying at the Casbah Hotel in Washington, D.C., and it was Shirley's first time in a hotel. A male gospel singer staying there made an inappropriate move toward her. Shirley, though nervous, stood up for herself and kept herself safe. This experience showed her strength and maturity, even at a young age. As Shirley settled into life with the Caravans, her talent began to shine brighter. She recorded several hit songs with the group, like Sweeping Through the City and No Coward Soldier. These songs highlighted her powerful voice and ability to connect deeply with her audience. People loved her energy and passion for gospel music. However, by the early 1960s, things started to change. There was tension within the Caravans, and Shirley began to feel that it was time to move on. In 1961, she made the hard choice to leave the group. She wanted to focus on her ministry work, which had always been close to her heart. Shirley believed that spreading God's message was more important than just singing. She once said, "The Lord called me out. My ministry is much more dynamic than my singing." This decision marked the start of a new chapter for Shirley Caesar. Her time with the Caravans had prepared her for the road ahead, and she would go on to become one of the most influential gospel singers in history.
There were times when Dorothy had her own group, but I was there. And then there were times when both of us were there singing.
Now let's talk about choices that Shirley made that stirred up some controversy in the gospel community. She signed with Roadshow Records, a secular, non-religious label. Her first album with Roadshow was called First Lady. Interestingly, this title wasn't Shirley's idea. The producer chose it because she was the first woman to record with the label. Little did they know that the title First Lady would stick with Shirley for the rest of her career. The album itself was a bit different from Shirley's usual style. Although the lyrics were still focused on gospel themes, many people in the gospel world thought the music sounded too much like secular music. As a result, some gospel radio stations refused to play the songs from the album. Still, one song from the album, Faded Rose, would become a Shirley classic. Even though First Lady didn't sell very well, the First Lady title caught on in the gospel industry. Soon, Shirley was being introduced at concerts and on radio shows as the First Lady of gospel music. She gave Roadshow Records one more try with her second album, From the Heart, in 1978. But sadly, it faced the same issues as the first one. The gospel community still thought the music was too secular, and the album didn't do well. After these struggles, Shirley realized she needed to return to her gospel roots. However, even with her long-standing reputation as a beloved gospel artist, Shirley found herself in the middle of a controversy. Fellow gospel singer Kim Burrell made headlines when she gave a sermon that many people thought was anti-gay. In her sermon, Burrell used strong language to criticize LGBTQ individuals and same-sex relationships. This sparked a lot of anger from the public, including some of Burrell's friends in the music industry. When the controversy erupted, Shirley decided to speak on the matter during one of her sermons at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden in Baltimore. Instead of distancing herself from Burrell's comments, Shirley surprised many by saying that Burrell should have spoken out earlier. Shirley seemed to be referring to the legalization of same-sex marriage by the Supreme Court in 2015, although she didn't specifically mention it.
So if you were going to say something, you should have said it 4 years ago when our president made that stuff all right.
Many fans were shocked by Shirley's remarks, and the comments sparked debate in the gospel community about inclusivity and acceptance. Shirley also gave advice about being careful with what people say, especially in the age of social media. She suggested that church leaders might even consider collecting cell phones at the door when they have something important to tell their congregation. The idea behind this was to avoid having their words taken out of context or shared online without their permission.
So now, with all of these people, if that's something that you want to say in-house, you better have the ushers there to get their phones.
As more criticism came her way, Shirley felt she needed to clear the air. She went on an interview with Bishop George Bloomer to explain herself. In that interview, she made it clear that she's too old to be homophobic. She said she would never intentionally say anything to hurt anyone. Shirley emphasized that she knows who she is and that she would never be ugly or mean toward anyone because she simply doesn't have time for that negativity in her life. Shirley explained that she is in the fourth quarter of her life, meaning she's focused on being the best person she can be in her later years. She tried to clarify why she didn't understand why Burl's comments were being brought up again after so much time had passed. Shirley asked why someone would want to stir up trouble in their life over something that happened long ago. She felt that people should move forward with their lives, no matter their background or community. To calm things down, Shirley ended her interview by calling for love and acceptance. She quoted the Bible, saying that by showing love, people would know they are followers of Jesus. She reminded people that Jesus didn't specify who to love, whether it was the LGBTQ community or anyone else. He simply said to love others. Despite her efforts to explain her position, not everyone was satisfied. Some people thought her comments were confusing, while others appreciated her call for love and forgiveness. However, this controversy brought some unexpected attention to Shirley. Some people even started spreading rumors about her own past, claiming she might have had relationships with women. These rumors were not proven, but were seen by some as an attempt to point out what they thought was hypocrisy in her words. The situation also started a larger conversation about the presence of LGBTQ individuals in gospel music. Other Christian artists who had come out as LGBTQ were brought into the spotlight. Trey Pearson, the lead singer of the Christian band Everyday Sunday, came out as gay in an open letter to his fans, causing a big reaction in the Christian music community. Similarly, Vicki Beeching, a well-known Christian songwriter, also came out as gay in 2014. Even though her songs had been sung by millions of Christians. Now back to her music career. Shirley Caesar's decision to leave the Caravans was not the end of her music journey. In fact, it was just the beginning of something even bigger. After singing with the group for 8 years, she felt it was time to step out on her own. When Hob Records offered her a solo recording contract, Shirley knew this was her chance. She took it, and her solo career started off strong. Her first solo album, I'll Go, became an instant success. Backed by the institutional radio choir, Shirley's voice sounded more powerful than ever. Songs like Oh Peter, Don't Be Afraid, and Choose Ye This Day were loved by fans. I kept on riding. And Shirley quickly became known as a leading voice in gospel music. She didn't stop there. She followed up with more hits like Satan, We're Gonna Tear Your Kingdom Down, and God's Not Dead, He's Yet Alive. One of Shirley's most touching songs was Don't Drive Your Mama Away. The song moved listeners and proved Shirley's ability to connect with people's hearts through her music. By 1971, Shirley reached a major milestone. She won her first Grammy Award for her recording of Put Your Hand in the Hand of the Man. This was proof that going solo had been the right decision. Another big moment in her career came with the song No Charge. This song carried a deep message about love and sacrifice, and it became a huge hit, earning Shirley a gold record. But even with all this success, Shirley felt she could do more. She started to think that her record label, HOB Records, wasn't helping her reach as many people as she could. So when her contract ended in 1975, she decided not to renew it. Shirley was ready for a fresh start. Shirley joined Word Records, a gospel label that fully supported her gospel music style. This turned out to be a smart move. Over the next few years, she released more hits and won additional Grammy Awards. Songs like God's Got It All in Control, Hold My Mule, and He's Working It Out for You became fan favorites. One of these songs, Hold My Mule, became famous again years later when it went viral as an internet meme called You Name It. This unexpected moment brought Shirley a whole new group of younger fans. Shirley's solo career also made her a familiar face on TV. She became a regular guest on the Bobby Jones Gospel Show, which helped her gain even more fans. Despite her incredible solo success, Shirley never forgot where she came from. She always gave credit to Albertina Walker, her mentor from the Caravans, for helping her start her career. Shirley called Albertina the queen of gospel music and remained thankful for her guidance.
When we see Jesus coming on a cloud to take us away.
Also, Shirley in Autobiography, she doesn't just talk about her music. She opens up about her life, her values, and the challenges she faced. One of the most personal things Shirley shares is her belief in sexual purity and how it shaped her decisions. But another important part of her story is how she dealt with financial exploitation, which taught her valuable lessons about standing up for herself. Growing up in the Black sanctified church, Shirley was taught that purity meant saving yourself for marriage. This value wasn't just a personal choice. It was tied to her faith in the teachings of her church community. In her church, women were expected to honor God by staying chaste and living in a way that pleased Him. Shirley lived by these rules and often shared them with young women, encouraging them to save yourself for the mate God has for you. Her belief in purity wasn't always easy to stick to, especially as she started traveling and performing as a gospel singer. But she stayed strong in her faith and values, which became a big part of who she is. Shirley's faith wasn't just about purity, though. It also gave her strength to face other struggles, like being treated unfairly when it came to money. Early in her career, Shirley joined a preacher named Reverend Jones on a gospel tour. He promised to pay her from the offerings collected during their services. But after traveling and singing her heart out for a whole week, she was shocked to be handed only 50 cents. Reverend Jones told her to go buy an ice cream cone and even patted her on the head like she was a child. This was a big insult and showed how some people took advantage of her because she was young and trusting. Shirley didn't just accept this unfair treatment quietly. She didn't fight back right away, but she and her friends later took pears from Reverend Jones's tree. Shirley's mother unknowingly made pear preserves and pies from the stolen fruit. And Shirley found it funny, almost like getting back at the preacher for being unfair. This experience stayed with her, though, and she learned an important lesson. You have to stand up for yourself. Shirley made sure that from then on, she would protect herself and demand fair treatment, especially when it came to money. She realized that while faith is important, she also needed to be smart and look out for herself in the real world.
And how can that preacher preach except he's been sent by God? Now, the problem is not the preacher. The problem is the sheep. Somebody said the problem is the sheep. You see, sheep beget.
Caesar has had a life filled with love, loss, and giving. In June 1983, she married Bishop Harold Williams. Together, they served as co-pastors of the Mount Calvary Word of Faith Church in North Carolina. Their church grew big, with over 1,500 members. Although Shirley never had children of her own, she became a stepmother to Bishop Williams' 2 children. Shirley and Harold were married for over 30 years until 2014, when Harold passed away. This was a very sad time for Shirley, but she didn't let it stop her from continuing her work in ministry and music. In the same year, something surprising happened. Her 1972 song, Teach Me Master, became popular again when a Dutch music producer sampled it. The new version of the song reached the UK singles chart, introducing Shirley's powerful voice to a younger audience.
Master, teach me.
Shirley has always believed in helping others. She credits her mother for teaching her to be generous. Over the years, Shirley has made sure a big part of her concert earnings goes to her outreach ministries. Through these ministries, she provides food, clothing, shelter, toys for children, and money to people in need. Shirley also started an annual outreach conference, which continues to make a difference in the lives of many people. During the holiday season, she uses money from her own store to give back to her community. Though Shirley has slowed down on preaching, she's still very involved in her church. She appointed an executive pastor to give weekly sermons while she serves as senior pastor. Even with less preaching, Shirley remains active in gospel music, performing and recording songs. In 2016, Shirley's music career hit another high point when her CD Fill This House topped the gospel Billboard chart. This was a proud moment for her, showing that her music still touches hearts. She also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a huge honor that celebrated her impact on both gospel music and culture. However, Shirley has faced some strange problems in recent years. There have been many false rumors about her death. At one point, a video claimed she was in her final moments in a hospital. In January 2024, another video falsely announced she had died again. Shirley decided enough was enough. She made a video to clear things up. In her humorous way, she told fans she was very much alive. "Unless I'm a living dead person," she joked, "I'm still here." She also denied rumors about having throat cancer, saying she's never been seriously sick. Despite the challenges, Shirley keeps going. With a career lasting over 60 years, Shirley has inspired countless gospel artists and touched the hearts of millions with her powerful voice and deep faith. Her songs like "No Charge" and "Hold My Mule" are full of stories and messages that lift people's spirits. Shirley didn't just sing, she lived what she preached. She often spoke about love, faith, and helping others. This made her a role model not just for singers, but for anyone who wanted to live a life of kindness and faith. Many gospel artists today say Shirley encouraged them to follow their dreams while staying true to God. Her influence goes beyond music. She's also known for giving back to the community through charity work. Shirley's dedication to gospel music has kept the genre strong and vibrant, inspiring new generations to sing for God. Her legacy reminds us that music can heal, inspire, and bring people together. Shirley Caesar isn't just a singer. She's a blessing to the gospel community and a symbol of faith that continues to shine bright.